Welcome to the Flor Dominicana Gourmet Smoke Sessions, an interactive and virtual in-person cigar and gourmet experience. Tobacco Leaf, Maryland. This is your Gourmet Smoke Session. Oh, Fred.
Hey everybody, welcome to something special actually, La Flor Dominicana Gourmet Smoke Sessions. This is actually the first one we've done, presented by Hacking Gourmet. That is me, that's the familiar face. You're actually going to see a couple familiar faces today. I'm Fred Ribeye, Hacking Gourmet, and I'll be your mediator. I can still never say that word. Mediator for tonight, which just means I'm just going to try to keep the peace among everybody on the show. We have a great show with some awesome guests, and I've been looking forward to this for some time because we actually have some whole stuff with Meat and Bone, and we have some people cooking from home. But I want to actually just, start right into it because I actually don't know where we're going from here, kind of making it up as I go along, as opposed to our normal show where we make it up as we go along. So please let's welcome LFD and in his different hat for this week anyway, or definitely tonight, Vice President Sales, and I'm going to even say his full name, Jonathan Carney. Hey, Jonathan, welcome to the show. Kind of a different environment here.
Everything's very formal. I from what we've done with the normal shows over the lockdown, I actually have a studio set up. I've got red lights and blue lights because that's what I've seen in other studios before. So it looks like it's coming out good. I also got a white light over here, so it's very formal this evening. But yeah, welcome to the La Flor Dominicana Gourmet Smoke Sessions. This is the very first session of 15 sessions that will work through February of 2022. So we've got all sorts of sessions planned, lined up. We'll be working with brick and mortar retailers nationwide to bring an in-person experience and a virtual experience to everyone across the country, bringing all the things together that we enjoy: cigars, food, alcohol. which is here as well. So we got some wine tonight, but yeah, it should be great fun. And this is the first kickoff event of this, and we hope to grow and get bigger every month. So yeah, welcome to the sessions.
Well, I'm impressed because you have. I can look up here like I pretend I'm looking at you, but in reality, it doesn't work this way. But you actually have a collared shirt on with like French toughness here. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a culinary type shirt. We've got somebody that's on one of our guests. If all of our guests could mute, yeah, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, that's beautiful. So you were referencing my collared shirt. Yeah, I got this nice collared shirt. This didn't really fit me a couple years back. It was, it's quite weird in size and shape. But some reason I guess I'm bulbous enough in the right areas and not bulbous enough in the others that now I have this. So this is my chef jacket for the night. I also got a towel.
I'm not entirely sure that it fits you now, but hey, let's just run with it. Let's just. But you called it a chef jacket, so I'm actually willing to go along with that part.
Yeah. So welcome to the sessions. It's a very formal experience. I do, however, have on my American flag Crocs. For those that watch Hacking Gourmet, I do have on my American flag Crocs. I'm sorry.
You know, you know how I feel about Crocs. So in the intro of the show, I'm just gonna skip that whole analogy and just go and just stick to the program and try to keep this professional. You kind of look with the red towel. You kind of look like you're ready for like a Running of the Bulls episode here, though.
Well, I either look like I'm like that, or I'm a server at a Spanish tapas restaurant. Like I feel like somebody is dressed like this and served me at like Jose Andres' restaurants, like Bizarre Meat. Like I'm pretty sure this is what they wear there. So I don't know if this is chef.
So I'm clear. Did you say topless or tapas?
Tapas. I would call this outfit.
It affects how the show goes. I'm just checking.
Well, yeah. I would call this outfit probably. This is front of the house chic, is what this is. Front of the house chic.
So hey, if you're looking for the brand new Gourmet Sessions clothing line, you're gonna have to hold your breath. I don't think that's coming out anytime soon. There's a little bit of disagreement in how that's gonna play out, but we have some cool people. We actually have people that like know their stuff in a lot of different areas. But you want to talk a little bit about what's going on, like what we're going to be doing on the show, because this is totally different for a lot of people.
Yeah. So what the Gourmet Smoke Sessions about? This was built. This was built over years, really. But really, how this started was at the beginning of Corona. We sat down and we started a cooking show. My friend Brian McGee and I started, and Fred joined us week 2. He was our guest, and then we said we had no money, and he was willing to work for free, which he still is, which is great. So thank you for that. But we started this cooking show, and we had this conversation very early on. I remember one night I was like a whole box of wine in, and I'd called Fred, and I was like, I've got these ideas, and we kind of went back and forth. Same with Brian, and we started this process of growing our cigar love into food. And something that we were also all passionate about. And the same thing at La Flor Dominicana. Lito Gomez is a huge foodie. He's really got me into the dry aged meats over the last few years. I think he and I kind of got into the same time. So it was only natural. We were already doing cooking events. I was already out doing events that I cooked at for about 9 years. So what we were doing was looking for an avenue to try to bring those events on a virtual way. And then at the same time, realizing as things change that we're going to be in stores too at the same time. So Hacking Gourmet was born as quarantine grilling originally, and then transitioned into virtual cigar events, which we're doing tonight, which is our very first one. We've been doing them for the last 16 weeks, essentially, on the show. But today we're presenting it and bringing it to everyone. And this program here, the Gourmet Smoke Sessions, are about a virtual and in-person experience. We will be having in-person events with these as well. For example, tonight at Tobacco Leaf Jessup in Maryland, there is an in-store event. This is streaming live in the store. They've also been running specials over the last few weeks with the Wood Butcher blocks, which we'll be having Aaron from Wood Butcher on here shortly as well. But yeah, this is a way to bring the experience to people that we just don't have an opportunity to have anymore, and uniquely transition this into a special experience in person as well. So if for those of you that are looking to participate virtually and enjoying the confines of your home or enjoying a retail shop, this will be a hybrid version of that. And we're really excited about it at LFD. And I know at Hacking Gourmet, this is what we've been trying to put together as a broadcast program where we could bring everything together at one place.
All right. Well, we're going to be talking about the cigars in a minute, and actually, we have a guest that can talk about the cigars way better than I think I can. But let's talk a little bit about what we're cooking tonight, because this was different. Is that people have the ability to go to Meat and Bone, order the same exact package that you're going to be cooking with them right now. So let's talk a little bit about what it is you're going to be cooking right now, live with people virtually.
So the package that was selected for tonight's gourmet smoke session was a prime Tomahawk ribeye. We have a prime Tomahawk ribeye here. This is about 32 ounces of beef. The unique thing with this prime is the highest grading that USDA gives to beef. So you can see the marbling here is excellent. The one thing that's really great about this is you can see the spinellus here, which is the very top portion, has the most marbling in it. This is a huge spinellus, so I'm assuming most of these tomahawks are center cut. Also, the fat distribution is excellent. When you get to lower grades of beef, you'll see this little spot of fat here in the middle tends to expand and be bigger. So the fat is distributed throughout the muscle rather than just distributed into one place. We've got a prime tomahawk ribeye that we're going to be cooking this evening. We've also got that accompanied with, we're going to have some, we've got this Cooper's Provisions. This is all provided by Meat and Bone, meatandbone.com. All of this is available on their website. So they've put this together for us this evening. This is the prime tomahawk ribeye and the smoked Mediterranean sea salt. Now, I opened this sucker up. I talked to Kyle about this. Our sales rep Kyle is going to be on the call with us tonight. He's actually doing a different different preparation of the same products. I opened this up. It's the strongest smoky smell I've smelled on a salt in ever. It's very strong smoke, which is excellent. It's going to taste great. I'm doing it with charcoal. Kyle and I had discussed a little bit. He's like, "Oh, do you think this is going to be too strong?" And I'm cooking with charcoal, so it's going to be perfect. I'm interested to see how it comes out. He's going to do a reverse here. But the ingredients in this are salt and smoke. So Cooper's Provisions, smoked Mediterranean sea salt. It's a coarse salt. That'll be nice. We're going to be putting a little bit of olive oil on there. And then Meat and Bone also provided for us a drunken cheese. Now, I was going to start eating this when the show started, but I got hungry and I already started drinking a little bit of wine. So I have been eating the cheese here. So what this drunken cheese is, it's an Italian cheese. This is all in the packet. So if you purchase this package, this all came in there for you. All you would need on your own is a few tools, like tongs, maybe a spoon, and a knife. But everything was in the package for you: cheese, tomahawk ribeye, and the salt. So when we do these packages going forward, everything you'll need for the show will be there for you. All you need is a cooking mechanism and then some basic tools. But this cheese is called, it's Italian. I don't speak Italian, but it's called Ibiraco, and that means drunk. So this is really a drunk cheese. So this is straight from their website. Cheese is traditionally made from cow's milk, which is aged for around 18 months. The last 6 months of which cheese is soaked in barrels of a local wine. So if you look on the outside here, Meat and Bones provided us this. You can see it's purple. You can see that's where it is, where it's from the wine there. So you can actually eat that outside. Some people don't like it. I've been eating it. But upon maturity, these cheeses develop a soft and supple texture, which ages to become a firmer and crumbly, similar to a Parmigiano. It has a flowery aroma and smells of Prosecco wine. It can be served in crumbles or shavings with a glass of Prosecco or any aged wine. I'm tonight pairing it with the Gordon Estate Syrah. It's a Columbia Valley from Washington. Really nice. It's got a little bit of spice to it. I'm quite enjoying it with the cheese. I would say the big thing with this cheese is it's not as sharp as Parmesan. It's a little milder. It's a little smoother. It's a little creamier on the palate. You can definitely tell the age in it that it has. It's a very good cheese. So anyway, so today they have the cheese to get started with. So if you're here, have some cheese, have some wine while you cook. We're going to get started on the prime tomahawk ribeye here in just a moment. Meat and Bone, thank you very much for putting together a great package. A lot more exciting packages to come. If you missed out on this opportunity, you can always go to Meat and Bone and buy these products separately at meatandbone.com.
Nice. That was I don't think I've ever heard as long of a cheese description in my life. And I was actually really hoping that there were just drunk cows involved, but that way sounds actually much better than mine, probably.
The cheese description was 2 paragraphs longer. I cut it in half.
And show notes. Absolutely incredible. You want to bring Kyle on? Because Kyle's going to be cooking with you. And then we've got, some other guests to bring on. You want to bring Kyle on now and talk about how you're cooking versus how you're cooking it?
Yeah, let's bring Kyle on. Real quick, I am pairing tonight with everything. This is a special night. I'm pairing all my all of my meals tonight, the food, the drinks, with the Andalusian Bull. So 2016 Cigar Aficionado Cigar of the Year. Those are, I believe, that Tobacco Leaf still has some of those available. If you give them a call up, they'll take care of that. If they don't, I'm sure that Rahul will be calling me tomorrow asking for more Andalusian Bulls. But yeah, Kyle, let's bring you on. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on. Kyle is the Mid-Atlantic sales manager for La Flor Dominicana. He, I guess that technically makes him my employee. So, Kyle, welcome to the show. You're going to be doing. I'll get into what I'm doing after, but you're going to be doing a reverse sear tonight. So, explain a little bit of what you're getting into with this Tomahawk ribeye.
Yeah, so pretty easy. I'm in the Mid-Atlantic. It's going to be getting cold, so when do we want steaks and we can't go outside? You can actually do it inside. We're going to do a reverse sear. So at the oven at about 300 degrees, we're going to go ahead and put it in, and it's going to be in there for about 30 minutes to 45, and then we're going to bring it out, and we're going to do a quick little sear on the skillet and call it a day. It's going to be pretty easy and straightforward.
So this is going to be indoor versus outdoor. So let's talk about, Jonathan, what you're going to be doing on the outdoor side.
So there's a couple different things. I know I had some people that are participating in today that had mentioned that they're going to be cooking on gas. So I will be giving some tips along the process. For those that are cooking along with us at home and smoking along with us at home, every single screen we're on will have the grill cam to it. So you can see what's going on with the steak at the same time. Obviously, we're not going to cook the cheese. The cheese stays on the side and we eat that. The only thing that I'm doing a little bit differently is I'm just going to use some roasted garlic because I'm going to use a nice I got a nice presentation lined up for the Instagram later. But grill cam will be on the entire time, so you can watch the grill cam from anywhere you're at on any of the screens when we're talking to our guests. But we're going to be doing a temper cook tonight. Temper cook is essentially a cook that uses high heat and a lot of resting time. So we're going to cook on this steak will probably cook for maybe 12 minutes throughout this next 45 minutes, and it will rest for the remainder of the time. And what that will is the beef will absorb the heat, and it will cook very evenly throughout. We're using charcoal today. For those of you that are using charcoal with us, I have lump charcoal lined up. For those of you that are using gas, just make sure your grill is hot as humanly possible. And for those cooking at a later time, you can watch what we're doing and learn from that. But the very first step we're going to do is we're going to apply very liberally. You can also salt prior, about a day before if you'd like. That what that does is allows the salt to soak into the muscle and into the meat, and you get the flavor from that. I don't mind that, but I prefer to salt right before I'm about to grill it. The reason I do that is mainly I run out of time sometimes, so I didn't have time to get this one going. So I'm just going to salt this baby up. You can see here we're going to use it very, very liberally. And then we're going to take a little bit of olive oil and sprinkle it on the top as well. That's going to create a nice crust for you because that's going to burn with the fire and the heat that you've got going. Now, there's a couple things we'll do a little differently. So we salt both sides here. There's a few things we will do differently if you're going to be preparing on gas. The big difference is the first part of our process, you'll be closing the cover of your grill during that. So what we're going to do here is before we get into our next guest here, we're going to throw this Tomahawk ribeye directly on the fire. We don't care about grill marks. Grill marks are just for show. We're about the quality of the beef and the quality of the cook. So we see some flames coming up. That's because of the olive oil. We're going to leave that on this side for about 2 minutes. And then we're going to flip it to the other side for 2 minutes. And then we're going to pull the steak off and let it rest for about 5 minutes. All right. So if you're at home and you're cooking on gas grill, you'll want to put it on for 2 minutes, close the top. After 2 minutes, when you're ready, I'll be keeping track of it. You're going to flip it over, and you're going to close the top again for 2 minutes, and then we're going to pull that steak off, and we're going to rest it on the side here. So if you're cooking with us, please keep an eye on the grill cam. That's how you'll know what's going on and what will be happening at the same process. We're going to go through this 2-minute process about 3 to 4 times while we're interviewing our next guest. So I said, keep an eye on the grill cam. I got my Andalusian Bull going. I'm eating cheese. I got wine. Life is pretty damn good right now. So again, thank you for everybody joining us. I hope you're enjoying some great cigars. We have, I said, our guests tonight are us from La Flor Dominicana. We do have Antonio Gomez, who's going to be on here shortly. For those of you that purchased at Tobacco Leaf, we also have Aaron Smith, the wood butcher from Maine, on here tonight, who produced the boards that you purchased. That were gifts with your purchase of the cigars for this event. So it should be a really exciting evening, and I'll hand it back off to Fred, and we'll get this show on the road.
All right. Well, I think that gives us, so we have inside versus outside. I actually think that Carney's done an awesome job on the tempered cooking. I actually started doing it that way a little bit this year. I typically right now, because of the Airbnb, I have gas. Nice little tip on how to open and close the grill. If some of you people weren't clear on how to operate the lid, now you've got a little, little tip there. If you've been like, oh my gosh, how do I close this? But anyway, Kyle's actually doing indoor, which is a reverse sear. I really wish we could have a taste test. This would be interesting between the two, but the tomahawks look really good too. Look, it's a piece of meat that typically you're going to pay a premium for. It's definitely all show. I'm all about those, especially when I'm down in DR and go to Saga and have it on a salt block. If you've seen the show enough, know I'm all about Team Salt Block since I ever came back from there years ago. But this should be good. This should be really interesting to see how these play out. Let's bring on our next guest, because he's actually way more eloquent speaker than we are. If that didn't set it up, I don't know what does. Please welcome to the show Tony Gomez, or Antonio Gomez, depending on which part of the world you are and how you address them. But Tony, welcome to the show.
How you doing, man?
Actually, I shouldn't say welcome to the show. I should say welcome to your event. I mean, it is LFD's Gourmet Smoke Session. So thank you for having me on your show.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. You guys are doing great so far. Learning a lot of useful information, especially things about meat that I didn't know, and obviously about which body parts Carney is most bulbous in. So that's good stuff to know, of course.
Hey, we're gonna take the steak. We're gonna take the steak off and rest it now.
I happen to know that, by the way, you know a lot more about food than you're leading on to, and you're definitely a foodie as I am. So I'm sure you were like me watching the tomahawk as he's showing off, putting up. I'm like, oh, I really want one right now. I mean, we're staring at food that we don't get to eat. That was just really pissing me off.
Yeah, dude, it's almost about dinner time for me. My mouth's kind of watering looking at that thing. By the way, did you know, and I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news here, but Saga is going to close, my friend.
I do know that. I did get a text from Puvi on like literally that day or night or whatever it was. But I mean, I'm hoping it's temporary. I'm hoping it's till all this stuff gets through. I think we all are. I mean, if anybody's been there, without making it, necessarily about Saga's restaurant, but I mean, it was like the place that we would all. It's the restaurant that we all wish we had in the United States. Smoker friendly, just a good vibe. You're eating great food and smoking cigars, and you're seeing friends there that you run it. You always run into people at the restaurant, and everybody's sending a drink back and forth and having a good time. So. I really hope that is back on track when we're done with all this. Anyway, so let's talk about you. Let's talk about officially. I mean, obviously, you have been part of the company your entire life, essentially. I mean, by default, just by birth. Being involved in ever since you were born. But I mean, I guess officially, it's about 10 years ago when you got done with college, and then you officially kind of went to work. I mean, actually probably got paid to work for him as opposed to before you didn't.
Exactly. That's the best way to put it. I started getting paid in 2019. 2009. So yeah.
So you are actually you're in charge of manufacturing, is that right?
I mean, dude, people ask me what my job title or description is. I have no idea. We're a small family company and we do everything.
For the sake of the show, I have given you a title. You're the LFD Vice President of Manufacturing.
There you go. All right,
yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, no, and I think your point is valid because I mean, people look at the titles, and Jonathan put that in the show notes is where I got it from. But I'm thinking, okay, you don't wear one hat when you're in that environment. I mean, you are wherever you need to be, whether it's manufacturing or specifically more production, or specifically what's coming down the pike as far as blending or what's going on in the States and distribution. I mean, I don't know anybody. Particularly in what you guys are doing, you can't. It'd be nice if you could do one thing because then you could only focus on one thing. But that's just not a real world scenario.
Yeah, sure. But honestly, I prefer it that way, man. I like every day is very unique. Every day is very different, and there's always different things to be done. depending on what's going on, you know. So yeah, I spend most of my time here in Santiago working at the factory, and of course, you know, there's always day-to-day things you got to take care of at the factory. You know, purchasing tobacco, fixing problems, whatever comes up. You know, it's kind of a surprise every day. But I also manage our international distribution, so you know, I deal with all the international guys and the orders, making sure everything gets to them. And I do what I really enjoy the most is the stuff on the creative side, you know. So the blending, but also designing packaging and creating products, you know. I really love that stuff and the marketing, ads, social media, and a little bit of everything, dude. A little bit of everything.
So how was it? So I'm curious, and I'm always curious on the whole family business thing because, you know, you have obviously what's already brought to the table. You already have a certain legacy, but then you're going in with your own ideas and your own ways to take things and stuff like that. How are the dynamics of that? How is that for you? How do you wrestle with, you know, what hey, this is the way we've been doing it, but I you know, look, I've seen this and this is where I think we should go. How do you do that? How was that for you when you stepped back in 10 years ago?
Sure. So, well, when I started back in '09, I started as a sales rep, right? So, you know, I covered the state of Florida. I actually I had the weirdest territory in the cigar industry. My territory was Florida and Colorado. What is
Okay.
he said, but I did that territory for over 3 years, 3.5 years, before I moved down to DR and started working in the factory. And that's when I kind of started contributing to, you know, the creative side and the products and all that. And I mean, you know, I learned a lot on the road, not only about what customers like, but what the, you know, what the end customer likes, what the retailers like, and what I like, you know.
Right.
And it's kind of stuff that I brought with me that's helped me out a lot in the long run. But I mean, I've been fortunate. You know, like my old man and I, we get along real well. And he one of the things I respect the most about him is that he listens to me. You know, whether or not he agrees is another story, but he always hears me. So, you know, you got this guy Lito Gomez. He's in the Cigar Hall of Fame. You know, he's got all the accolades you can give to him, and you know, he doesn't have to listen to me because what the hell do I know? But he's always listened to me. He's always looked for my perspective on things, and every now and then he agrees. So that's the cool thing. But I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, that side of the business is what really gets me going the most is creating. You know, creating anything I can.
Well, and I think I mean, look, you went into a difficult scenario because, again, who your dad is, but you know, it's a blessing and a curse. I mean, a lot of people, some people look at it, I'm sure, and they're just like, oh, wow, you've got it easy. I mean, look, you know, you're a son, you got this and stuff like that. But the flip side is it's almost even tougher in a lot of ways. You know, and you've really proven yourself in the last 10 years for a, you know, not a reputation based on your father, but also a reputation based on who you are and decisions you've made, and people have gotten to know you. And I think that's certainly a lot of accolades go towards that, because not a lot of guys can get through that gauntlet. And I think that's probably the best word I could use for it, because, you know, you're running that tightrope. And so kudos to you for doing that. You know, and I'm sure the road time gave you that perspective also, but what you've done since you've been back, I think I'd be remiss to not ask what you're smoking tonight, though. I think that probably should have been my first question.
So I'm actually smoking, Carney's going to get pissed at me for this, but I'm smoking a cigar that you cannot buy. You know,
oh my God.
Oh yeah. Reps love that. They love it when you get on the show and smoke something they can't buy. This is a
selling event, and he's got something you can't buy.
Can't buy right now. Can't buy right now. Let's just go with that.
I'm no better. I'm smoking an Andalusian Bull, so I'm no better.
You almost can't buy that one either, you know.
Yeah. That one's tough to find either. All right, so let's talk a little bit about you know, let's talk about LFD a little bit. So I guess how do you see LFD different, or what is your unique value proposition, or what makes you different as a company, say, as some of the other manufacturers out of DR?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, the most important thing to know about La Flor is that La Flor is the real deal. There's no, can I curse on here? There's no bullshit. Right?
Yeah.
So we own our own factory, we own our own farm, we grow our own tobacco, we make the cigars. I'm at the factory, my father's at the factory almost every week. We're there. It's ours. We do it. And I think that's the most important thing about La Flor is that we have a very tight grip over everything that happens, and we have full control, it's invaluable, really. So there's always corners to cut, but the corners are ours to cut, and that's in our hands. It's in our control, and we don't depend on anybody else for the success or the quality level of our product. But other than that, I think what really sets La Flor apart, and it's something that I actually really love about La Flor, is that we're a very young company. We've been around for 25 years, and in the scheme of things in the cigar industry, that's not very old. And the cool thing about that is that La Flor was this crazy idea that my dad had 25 years ago. It didn't make any sense, and we're not beholden to the way that my grandfather used to do things or my great grandfather used to do anything like that. The cool thing about La Flor is that we do things differently. We've always been very creative, and we've always come up with new and unique ways to do things. And I think that's what's most fun about this company to me is that we're not trying to recreate the classics, man, because the classics are already there and they're great. And there's nothing wrong with being classic, but if you're trying to imitate them, then I think you're losing from day one. So the idea behind La Flor is to create something new and just to be different.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've definitely seen the strengths of your company as far as being small and it's all you. We talked earlier, I think before the show, we were talking about, the hats and doing different things. We talked about on the show as well. I've known you guys to literally, something doesn't meet a standard and you guys to scrap the entire production and just say, look, this is not what we want to have our name on. So tell me a little bit about, the not being weighed down by old school techniques. Obviously, there's an homage paid to it, and there's obviously a thing. But tell me a little bit about how you approach blending cigars. Does that come into play? What your philosophies are when you go into approach to blend a cigar? What's going through your head at that point?
It's weird, man. The new products, new cigars. There's an infinite amount of ways that the inspiration can come to you. Sometimes it's one particular tobacco that inspires you. Sometimes it's a shape that inspires you, or a size, or whatever. There's been 100 different ways where a new product has been born, or at least the concept. But dude, at the end of the day, it's you just make a cigar that you like. You make something that you want to smoke, and I'm the first customer. My father and I were the first customer, and if we don't like it, then we're not going to make it. We're not going to put it out. We're not going to put it out because there's a market trend or because we think people might like this or want that. If we like it, we'll do it. If it's something that we think is special and we love it and we think it's something unique in the lineup, then we'll do it. And that's all it really is. I'm selling the cigar to myself first before anybody else.
I like that because, it's got to be something you like. You can't actually be at an event in the future and, you create a cigar just for, to put out a cigar and fill a hole in a portfolio or maybe a window you see to make money. And then the guy's like, do you smoke that cigar? And you're like, nah, it's not my thing. I really don't like that. I mean, I like how you and your father are your first customers. I think that's a really good marketing line. And I think you need to use that in the ad. So there you go. So talk to me about food. Now, I've actually had the ability to, your dad. I've been at an event at a dinner where your dad cooked, and so that was amazing. So tell me about how food influences your family and what you like for foods.
I've never been proud of my cooking abilities up until the quarantine started and all that, and I went from being a crappy chef to I'm actually not embarrassed to cook for people now. I've learned a lot. And I think I'm okay now. I think I'm pretty good. I got a few plates that do really well.
All right. Well, I see another throwdown challenge at some point where somebody can be there personally to verify that. But I wouldn't be surprised because I'm sure it's in your genes, obviously, as the tobacco is, and you've taken that from your dad and made it into your own. If you even can take a tenth of his skill in the cooking department, like I said, I've been fortunate enough to have some of his meals, and you know, if something ever went completely south with cigars, he could absolutely open up restaurants and be spot on, because he's really that good.
Guys, I
So
want
tell
to
me
jump
what's
in
coming
real
down.
quick. I want to jump in real
Okay.
quick. We're about to go to our third cooking session. If people have been watching on the screen, they'll see I keep touching the meat with my knuckles. The reason I'm touching the meat is to test the temperature on the outside. When you pull it off, it's going to be hot. So you're going to feel it hot initially, and then when you set it down to rest, once it starts coming back to room temperature or body temperature, that's how you know you're getting close to be able to putting it back on to create an even cook. So I've been touching that. With that, we're getting close. We're about a minute or so away from putting it back on for the third thing. But anyway, go back. We just had a little bit of a technical issue. You guys didn't notice it. It was fine, and it's caught back up. But for those that are watching that experienced the pause, it will catch back up to that. So we did have a slight technical issue, but we're back to normal.
Wow, and we just gave away a jet and trip around the world. So I'm hoping it was live when you guys saw that. I'm hoping that didn't glitch out for whoever our lucky winner is. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit more on LFD before we kind of bring in. We'll probably check back in with Kyle at some point. I know we got Aaron waiting in the wings. Tell me what's coming down the line. I mean, this is a different environment. Obviously, the FDA kind of closed things down for a while, and everybody was scrambling on their own portfolio, but now it's kind of pseudo back open a little bit, and obviously a little bit of a reprieve in there. But tell me what's business as usual right now, and what's next for LFD.
Well, business as usual is a little different right now than it has been. Of course, I mean we're living in a very different world right now, and we can't operate in the same way. So the factory's open, it's operating. We're at about 50% production, and that's about as high as we can go right now, just due to spacing. We have to space people out, so we can't pack the rolling room as we usually do, which is bringing a lot of challenges, man, because people are smoking like normal. The demand is there, just standard demand is there, and we unfortunately we can't keep up with it like we have been able to in the past. So we do have new things that will be coming. We've got the packaging done. It's kind of ready to go. We just can't produce it right now because we make the normal products. We need to make the things that are on back order. So it's tricky right now to bring things into production because we'll totally neglect a lot of the things that just the bread and butter stuff that we need to be making. So unfortunately, kind of on pause right now, but as soon as things start to change a little bit and free up, we got some cool stuff coming out, and I'm very, very excited about it.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I mean, and I totally get you don't want to throw something out that people can't get or anything. I mean, nobody wants that. Nobody wants a situation like that. And I think that the one thing with this environment right now that surprised a lot of us is that the amount of cigars being smoked did not decrease for the most part. If anything, it increased because people are sitting at home smoking more. But yet, channels were closed down a little bit more. Production was closed down a little bit more. So right now, this has been the most challenging time. I imagine, keeping up with production, short of being #1 cigar of the year, then that's probably a super big challenge, which a lot of people aren't burdened with, but you guys obviously have been. But, I think that there's the challenges of keeping up with that. And, from your side, as far as production, deciding, okay, we're at 50% capacity. We don't see a window of being anywhere sooner than that for a while. What do you produce? Which ones do I go with? Which ones are and try to, and also at that moment, but also what's going to be in a month from now? Because obviously they don't go out that day. So you've got to figure out, okay, what are my needs 45 days or 60 days or 90 days from now, and try and make that prediction.
Yeah, man, you got to make some hard decisions. We can't make everything. So we got to focus on the most important things. And obviously, you look at the tobacco inventories, you do what you have, and you do what you can. But yeah, it's strange times, dude. It's strange times, and we're figuring it out as we go. But unfortunately, what can we do, man? It's what it is.
Yeah, it is, and I think you guys are doing a great job with it. Before we move on, so let me just kind of throw a complete left field shot here. So tell me something during COVID, because we've all been stuck at home more. I went in with 3 goals. I was going to finally become fluent in Spanish, learn guitar, and start drinking coffee. I'm only drinking coffee. I still can't play guitar, and my Spanish is still just okay. So Tell me something like in this environment that you feel like you've accomplished, or you've spent, some people spend more time reading, some people learned a whole new skill. Was there anything for you that this environment kind of had you pause and focus on, or learn something new or do something different?
Yeah, man. Actually, I think I took a pretty big advantage of all this. We mentioned cooking stuff before, but what I really came out of this with is that I said, you know what, I'm going to learn because I've always been heavily involved in the designing and the creative process behind the products, but I've always depended on a designer to put my vision onto the screen, paper. But I kind of got sick of having to depend on somebody for that, so I went ahead and I learned Photoshop and I learned Illustrator.
Okay.
I learned all that stuff, and now I can do it all myself, and I don't need because designers are not easy to work with. Let me tell you something. They don't like to work, and they don't like to show up on time. And
and it's hard to put. You got something in your head, and it's hard to even convey to them. And you're like, okay, I've got this picture, and you give them the description, and they come back and are like, dude, we're not even on the same page. That is not at all what I just told you. So yeah, kudos to you, because Photoshop's not too bad. Illustrator and stuff, that's like a totally different beast. You walk over from a Photoshop skill to Illustrator, and you're like, okay, now you don't even have layers anymore. This is totally different. So good. That's true.
They're totally different, but yeah, man, it's one of the best things I've ever done for myself, just personally and professionally, was learn this stuff, and now I'm just going nuts, just making shit 24/7.
Yeah.
Now my dad's going nuts too, because I'm throwing ideas at him every day, and I've got hey, check this design out, check this one out, check this one out.
That's right. That, and now you need a bigger computer and a bigger hard drive and a faster computer and all the other stuff, external hard drives. Yeah, I get it.
We made a deal. You buy me the nicest computer, or the company buys me the nicest computer at the Mac store, and then I'm gonna become our designer. And we shook hands on it, and we did it.
That's a good deal. All right. Let's check back in with Jonathan and Kyle and see how they're doing. And I know Aaron's been waiting in the wings, and I definitely want to get Aaron in here. So hang out, obviously, with us. Don't go anywhere. But thanks. That was some really, really cool stuff, Tony. Really appreciate you sharing that. Jonathan, what's going on? What are you guys doing? I mean, I see a steak go on. I see a steak go off. I see a lid go up. I see a lid go down. What's going on?
So yeah, we're in here. We're on the final resting period of that first phase. We are going to do some more cooking here while you talk to the wood butcher. But those were 3 2-minute sessions essentially on each side. And then we let it rest for about 5 minutes each. So we're about, I'd say, my math's going to be bad here, but I'm about 18 minutes, 20 minutes into the cook. The big thing is, it said feeling the beef with your knuckles is huge. Like, that's what I'm doing right now. It's hot, so I'm letting it rest. Another thing you can do is you can take a look at the meat. People ask, how do you know when to take the meat off the grill? So it'll start to expand because the juices are going to work their way out of the beef and out of the muscle. So when it starts to get a little bit bulbous, I guess bulbous is the word of the day, that's a great time to pull the beef off. And then you can slowly watch it. If there was a time-lapse video, you could kind of watch the meat come back to a normal width. And what that is it's the beef absorbing the meat, absorbing the juices back in. And that's what the tempered cooking process is truly about, is we're controlling the temp. We're making sure that it raises at a slow pace. Really what this is a really involved version of sous vide. And people are like, well, why don't you just sous vide? It'd be really easy to do that. That's definitely a way to do this. But this is just a fun process, and it's enjoyable. You get to have a cigar. You get to have a drink. We're going to have some cheese and stuff here. It's truly an experience rather than just putting it in a bag and boiling it. So that does create a lot of consistency. But as you go see here at the end, we're going to have a lot of consistency as well, if not better. And then we had an enjoyable time doing it all together at the same time. So that's where we're at. We're at a rest now. The next step in the process here is when you get talking to Aaron. We'll be putting it on now for about 30 seconds to a minute each. We're going to do that about 4 times and have 3 to 4 minutes of rest in between. So if you're watching and you're cooking home along with us, I've actually had several people reach out and send me pictures of their actual cooking right now. So we do have people doing this with us, which is awesome. So thank you for that. But let's check in with Kyle, because he's in the middle of a really different cooking technique, which creates significantly less smoke and can be done inside.
Yeah, and not near as sexy to watch, because basically he's reverse searing. So, so Kyle, what's going on?
So
are you sneaking? Are you sneaking a look or putting on the oven light, or what are you doing?
Yeah. So I'm just taking a look inside the oven, making sure everything's okay. The oven is going to be between 275 to 325 for my reverse sear. That's the way I like to kind of do it. It's like a slow and low type of way of doing it. And basically was just put on a wire rack and put inside the oven. And I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to use a thermometer because I need to know where the temperature is at before I sear it. And I'm not as experienced in the red meat world, so I like to try and dial it in a little bit better. I'm going to take it off once it hits about an internal temperature of 100 degrees. And one thing that's really key here is you need to preheat whatever you're searing your steak on. So I've already gone ahead and turned the heat on and the gas to this cast iron griddle right here. Mm-hmm. And a good way to test if your griddle is up to the right temperature, make sure there's no oil on it first, but then just take a little bit of water and dot it on the griddle. It should bead right off. If it's not beading, it's not hot enough. It's not going to get you that nice crust and sear. So we should be searing about 10 to 15 minutes here max.
Okay. If you're following along at home and you're actually with Kyle's method on here, there was obviously a lot of really good information there, but there was one very, very important takeaway that Kyle pointed out is that one, in an oven, since you're not necessarily always getting to feel it in the same way as grilling, that if you open it up, you start losing heat, so it gets questioned. So you're going to want to temp it whenever possible. But the big takeaway that I got out of that I think is important to pass on also to make sure you didn't miss it was that he's pulling that steak at 100 degrees. Now, a piece of meat, particularly of this caliber, of this thickness, but any piece of meat really is close to rare at around 120. You're closer to 130 as you're getting into your medium rares, 130, 135. So one of the mistakes someone would make on a reverse sear is letting it cook too long in the oven. Like if you let it go all the way to 130 and you pull it out and then you sear it, guess what? You've got a medium to medium well steak when you're actually putting it on the table. So allow for that last bit of cooking, in this case, 25 degrees or so, to happen at the sear stage. I think that's really important that you make sure that you're pulling it out, because I see a lot of mistakes where people overcook steak, and that's I don't want to say it's criminal, but boy, that's pretty close. Unless you're Danny and you're listening to the show, you like your steak medium well. So Danny, that's fine. You're always the exception to the rule here. But hey, let's move on. And we're way behind schedule, but the cooking's going good and we're enjoying it. So let's bring on Aaron Smith. Aaron is the wood butcher, if you've known him definitely by that. And he's the one that's been doing all the cool cutting boards. He's the one that his ears were burning when I said there's no way in hell this grill scraper is going to work, this thing. And it turned out being awesome. And then also what I call the snack tray, but it's really the coaster and everything else. So Aaron, welcome. I think you're muted. I think you have to unmute yourself. Or just hang up altogether. That's good too.
I think we lost him. So let's go back to Tony for a bit.
He's going to dial back in. Let's check back in with Jonathan while we're waiting. Aaron, he's coming back in. There you go. He's back. Okay.
Gotcha.
Boom.
About that.
That's it. That's how technologically advanced those people in Maine are. They just on a dime, they're back. Well, welcome.
Right up when I was unmuting it.
So we're like, the cutting boards are awesome. You actually tell me a little bit about how you even got started in this and why it is. And I know the story, but a lot of people, on the gourmet smoke sessions don't know the story. So tell us how you started doing these.
Yeah.
Well, hold up. Before he answers that, a really unique thing is at Tobacco Leaf Jessup, as part of the packages that people bought for this event this evening, their gift with purchase was a Wood Butcher live edge board. So that was a live edge birch board. I think he used birch and maybe cherry or maple or whatever that. But yeah, the gift with purchase with this event this evening was a Wood Butcher board. So sorry, Aaron. Go ahead.
I was actually going to get that. I thought I'd start with the man and his product and then segue into how awesome it was people had that. But hey, go ahead, bring it up now. And I got nothing else to talk about. So let's go back to Aaron. Let's talk about how you got started in this.
Yeah. So the woodworking thing came about as just something me and my wife, we bought a house, and we kind of we were watching HGTV, and we wanted a bunch of furniture and some nice tables. Everything was pretty expensive, so really what I did was I built our dining table. Borrowed a saw from my father-in-law, and hammer and nails and screws. That was it. Wasn't the greatest table in the world, but we had mini dinners on it. And that kind of got things going for me. I like the feeling of using my hands, producing something like that. So basically, from there on, it kind of snowballed, getting more equipment, more tools. And then I noticed a lot of my social media was becoming woodworking related or things I was producing. And just kind of came to me, Wood Butcher, for my name. One being because my day job is as a butcher. So I figured it kind of went hand in hand with go home, cut wood, go to work, cut meat. So that's kind of how the woodworking started. I've been cutting meat since I would say probably 17, 18 years old. Got a job as a meat clerk at first in Lincoln, Maine, where me and Carney are from, and just kind of worked my way up from there, cutting meat more into the supervisory role now. But yeah, ever since then, cutting meat and picked up woodworking in the last few years.
So tell me about the live edge boards, because I think those are the coolest ones for me. I mean, I like all of them. I like all the stuff, but tell me about the live edge boards and what you have to look for to make those.
Yeah, so the live edge boards, they're, like you said, I do like those projects. Right now, the ones that went to the tobacco leaf, they're mostly flame birch. And what I do is I get those probably, say, anywhere from like 20 to 30 miles radius of where I live. So they're local to me. So it's more of the supply comes from, what's available at the time. Like right now, I can probably get some birch and some cherry from the guy that runs the lumber mill I go to. And really what I do is buy some slabs, cut the desired lengths for whatever project I'm doing, and mill them down, sand them, oil them, put the logos on them. And they're just kind of unique because I like the project in a way that you're not necessarily going to get a specified dimension, specified edge look every time.
And no two are alike.
Exactly. So like you're going to get something unique that isn't fully replicated from the next person buying, a birch serving board.
So are we like in your shop? Is this where you actually do, like I see some sort of machinery in the background or whatever like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's probably not the prettiest backdrop on this live show right now, but yes, we are in my shop. It's in the basement of my home. About half of the basement is unfinished, and that's where I currently keep all the tools and equipment. All the production is in here. I have a shed outside, and that's where I keep all the lumber right now because I've run out of room in here. And thank God for my wife that lets me run this operation out of our home for now until I build my own garage.
So tell me something that you are like, okay, so, and he has no idea that I'm going to ask this, but tell me something that you want to make that you are just absolutely frustrated that's more difficult than you thought it would be, or it's something you're still working on that you're trying to figure out how to pull off. Something that you really want to have part of the collection that's not currently in the series.
Definitely. So, and I've been asked a few times, and I've made sketches, and I got information down that a process of how I'm going to do it. But what right now is basically making a butcher block. Like I've made a bunch of them, but tabletop size. I've had inquiries about some restaurants will want like a 3x5 footer, and wouldn't be super difficult, using a softwood or a cheaper wood like pine or hemlock, but for the durability aspect of it, using a hardwood like maple or birch just takes it to another level. So that's definitely a project I'm currently getting a setup for. I need some more equipment, but those larger scale items are definitely something that I want to be able to produce. Like one, I always do it, big project like that for myself first.
Right.
But
you're like the pine tree state. Isn't that what it is? You're the pine tree state?
Yes, we are the pine tree state, and it's definitely my least favorite wood to work with. I've used it many times. It's something that, how can I say this? If I'm building something for myself or I need to give something a go before I really am comfortable with putting it out there, I'll definitely use pine. It's a little cheaper, so you can mess up and not, get too upset about it. But for sure, yes, we're the pine tree state.
See, that's like two things that since I got roped into doing these shows with Jonathan, I've learned that Maine is the pine tree state, and I also learned that fiddleheads is like a big deal up there that you can put in food earlier in the year until such time that they become poisonous. So I don't know what you guys are doing up there, but keep it up. I love your stuff. I actually have one of your cutting boards. I've actually been on the road for 2 months, so I don't actually have it with me. I kind of miss that. But if you have not seen his stuff, go to woodbutchermaine.com. Check it out. He's got some really cool cutting boards. Personally, I love the live edge one. The scraper is made out of cedar. Is that correct? The grill, what do you call it? The grill, it's not scraper. That's not, there's a cooler word than that.
I call it a grill scraper.
All right, grill scraper. We're going with that. You heard it here on the culinary grill scape expert scenario. I am. Really, it actually cleans the grill really awesome. It was really cool. By about the third use, it's completely scrubs.
Perfect.
Let's check back in with John Carney and see where we are. And I know Kyle's got to be getting close to the 100-degree mark to pull. I think he's temping it right now. I can see it on the side camera.
Yeah, we're in good shape over here, Fred. We've got. I'm still eating cheese. You can see my setup here behind me. Got the Andalusian bowl ashtray. I did just get a brand new knife set we're going to be cutting with today. We're going to be cutting with Thomas Keller's United series tonight. The first cut will be first cut with any of those knives will be here. But yeah, I've got the steak on there for another about 30 seconds on each side, and then we're going to rest it off to the side here for until the end of the show. We're cooking this to medium rare. So I should have mentioned that at the beginning. There's only one temperature of steak in my mind. It's medium rare. If you want to go well done, just add an extra 30 seconds to each thing that we've been doing throughout the night for medium well. But Kyle, I think you said Kyle's got his steak off the grill.
He attempted, he pulled it off. So Kyle, where are you? Kyle, you're muted. So to help our hearing acknowledged people.
All right, so
there we go.
Let's see if the video catches up there. We just temped the steak. You'll see my still of me temping the steak there. And we're at just over 105. So pulled it off, and we're going to make its way onto the griddle and get a sear. I'm not sure why it's frozen at you temping the steak. It's kind of like that photo of the bank robber in the middle of the robbery or whatever like that. It was an action shot. We're off of it now. We're back over to the grill cam. So I think can we bring in can we have everybody on the show at the same time? Can we bring Tony back in and really see if we can't crash this system? Because I want to see. I'm looking at Tony and Aaron as basically the panel here. I want to get their opinion on how you're doing. Both of them I know are food guys. Tony, how do you think they're doing so far? I mean, you're watching this just like I am.
I'm watching. It looks like Carney's doing well. I've got full faith in his meat cooking and eating abilities. Kyle, I don't know. It's in the oven. I can't see it, but I got faith in Kyle too. Kyle knows what he's doing. I'm sure.
That was like the most politically correct answer I've ever heard.
Nah, it's called respect, Fred. It's called respect.
Wow.
Look at that though. Look at that.
With the guy here in Carney that I've seen Carney eat a steak before he went out to eat steak.
Yes, that's true.
Fun story. This was about 5, 6, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I'd recently got promoted to vice president of sales. So Alito and Inez invited me out to dinner, and they said, "Would you like to go out to dinner with us? We'd like to take you to this nice Italian restaurant." I go, "Absolutely, I'd love to, whatever." So we were going to go out. The family we all tend to eat a little bit late, so I just eat more times during the day. So we went to this restaurant, and I had a 24-ounce New York strip prior to dinner, had an 18-ounce strip at dinner, and then an entire bowl of ice cream. And then I confessed to the fact that I'd eaten dinner prior to going out to dinner, and the legend grows even bigger.
All right.
Look at that right there, though. Look at that. That's beautiful crust. It's going to be medium rare on the inside. We're going to go final resting stage here. So so let's see what Aaron thinks about what's happening.
Oh man, I I got to say both of them look excellent. Carney did give me his directions on how to cook a tempered steak, and I've been using those ever since actually the beginning of the COVID lockdown. He sent me those over with a steak, and I can vouch for the tempered method. It's unbelievable. After all these years cutting meat, grilling profusely, this is the first year I've done it that way. The reverse sear I've been so fascinated by. I need to try that, and when he just displayed on the screen, that was excellent looking.
Yeah, I had not done the tempered cooking at all. I mean, and I've done reverse sear over the years, and obviously grill and smokers and salt blocks and stuff. But I have to say that this is the first year I did it, and actually I think it saved me. So this Airbnb we have on the lake, they have just a propane grill that's not even a very good grill. Controlling the fire is not very good. There's almost nothing good about this grill. And I have to say that, but up here, you've got Snake River Farms, I mean, I'm getting some Wagyu, I'm getting some really good meats up here, some really good salmons, things like that. So I will say that there's a butcher up here that I like in Coeur d'Alene. It's called Tim's, and excellent cuts, prime, stuff like that. And I've actually used the tempered cooking. In the beginning, I didn't, and I've gone to the tempered cooking on those steaks, and it's made a difference on taking what I think is an inferior cooking surface on this propane grill and actually still pull off these steaks pretty good. Now, I don't think it's as good because I do wood burning grilling at home, so I don't think it's as good as that. But I'll tell you what, the tempered cooking has definitely saved me on the road when I'm dealing with an inferior cooking device.
Exactly. Yep.
So, Fred, one thing we got going on here, this is the fastest I've ever smoked an Andalusian bull. I've been stressed out this entire time. I've killed an entire bull in almost an hour. We're doing a plating here. We got the steak on there. The way I seasoned this steak was just with the smoked salt and olive oil. This is a very traditional Italian way of preparing a steak. Butter's great, rosemary's great, garlic's all great, but those things tend to burn. So for me, if you're going to use high heat, you want just salt, you want olive oil, creates a nice crust, and I'm using the rosemary and the roasted garlic as a garnish. And as I said, I also got here, which you can see on the grill cam, these are some Woodford Reserve soaked cranberries that we have. So I'm going to put those cranberries on the side there. So that'll be a nice little plating and give it kind of a fall feel to it. And you know what? I might just sprinkle a little bit of this Woodford Reserve right on top of the steak because I'm going to hit it with some salt here, and then we're going to let it rest. The very important thing with a tempered cooking method is the final resting period. It's got to rest for about 10 to 15 minutes, and you're going to be eating it at about 80 to 90 degrees. So you're going to be eating it at almost room temperature, but you're going to have all the juices absorbed back into the steak. When we cut this beef, there's not going to be juice all over this beautiful wood butcher board, by the way. There won't be juice all over it, and that's because the juice is going to be in the muscle. So that's where you're going to get all the flavor. So we're going to sprinkle it here at the end, a lot of smoked salt, and the plate's done. So here we go. This is the final preparation.
If it wasn't a cooking and cigar show, you would have had me at Woodford Reserve. I mean, all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, infused what? Hold on, back that up. That looks beautiful. Kyle, I know you got yours ready to display on the reverse sear. You want to throw that up to the camera? That looks awesome as well. Yeah. Oh, that looks really, really good.
Yeah, so if you're going to reverse sear it and take it out at about 105, you're only going to take about a minute to a minute and a half on each side on high heat. Also, just be mindful. I don't know. I think I froze, but there was a little bit of a grease flare up. If you have a grease flare up, don't worry. Just turn the heat down a little bit. Don't blow on it, and just be mindful. You're cooking inside.
And don't throw water on it.
Don't throw water. No water.
All right. Who can tell us about the deal that's going on? Because I think you can actually still call into Tobacco Leaf and actually still get in on the package with the cigars and the block and all the other stuff. Who knows about that? Is there an LFD sales rep in the house somewhere?
Yes. So if you want to reach out to Tobacco Leaf in Jessup, Maryland, they're going to still have some of the Wood Butcher blocks that with your box purchase, you're going to be gifted. He is able to mail it out to you. So if you're looking for something in particular and you want this really cool, commemorative first wood butcher block that we've done with the Flor Dominicana and a tobacco leaf Jessup, Maryland. Just give them a call. You can tell them that we sent you, and they'll know exactly what you're looking for, and they'll set you up. You also can do mix and match. If you don't want to go ahead and just buy a box of something in particular, you can buy 20 cigars, and we'll still give you the deal. And it's obviously going to be just while supplies last. I talked to Rahul, who's the owner of Tobacco Leaf in Jessup, Maryland, and he only has a few more blocks left. So make sure to call him tonight, if not first thing tomorrow.
Yeah, and if you were able to screen capture whatever Tony was smoking during the show, I would just ask for that cigar and the Andalusian Bull, but settle for whatever else is in stock. But start with that just to put some good pressure on Kyle and John Carney. They like that sort of thing.
Yeah, we love it.
I don't know where else. Before I know Jonathan's going to close the show, I just want to say, Aaron, thanks for being on the show. Obviously, Kyle and Jonathan, you guys are great, but you guys get to eat. The rest of us are just sitting there staring at food pathetically, thinking, what the heck are we going to eat after this? Tony, it's awesome catching up with you, man. I miss seeing you. It's great that you guys hung out and did this. I think that the gourmet smoke sessions are awesome. And this show actually was probably one of the least train wreck shows I think we've ever done. And I can't even tell why, other than it was probably you and Aaron on the show, because I don't know why. It certainly wasn't us.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't you.
I mean, I thought they'd give us a little bit of props that we've done a good job here, but I mean,
No.
hey,
No.
credit's due where credit's due. The guests were fantastic.
Tony's gonna look at the sales tomorrow, and then he'll decide how well this show went. Okay, I respect that.
You weren't that good. Be like, Carney, you need more red lights. You weren't red enough.
Hey, by the way, I mean, I keep looking at my setup here. This is a pretty nice little setup I got. I got some sunflowers. I've got an ashtray. I got my cheese. We got the gourmet smoke session banner here from
great.
This is beautiful meat and bone.
Yeah.
And,
if we go for a Martha Stewart Instagram Pinterest award for the show, you got it. You got it, man. You're good. You're good. I've been trying to figure out what the neon sign is in Tony's reflection there for the last hour, but you were set up. You win the award. You got it.
I only started at like 11 o'clock this morning, so hey, it takes a lot of time to put something together like this. But yeah, no, this was awesome. I said this is the first session that we had. This was kind of a test, and thank you to Rahul at Tobacco Leaf in Jessup, Maryland. Beautiful cigar shop. Just recently, we had him on the show on Hacking Gourmet on Monday, where he showed his store, one of the more beautiful stores in the country. And I really mean it. I travel all over the place, and obviously I'm very complimentary to the places I walk into, but Rahul is truly a partner with the LFD brand, and his store is very representative of this gourmet session that we had tonight. And we hope to do one of these fully in person someday at the store he has there. But if you're ever in the DC, the DMV area, check out Tobacco Leaf Jessup. Give them a call. They can take care of you with LFD cigars. But thank you, Rahul, for testing this out with us. This was something that he happened to have just called us about and wanted to do a virtual hybrid event. And we had some crazy ideas. So I thank you for doing them. Thank you for being a part of it. That was great. Thank you, Aaron, for your friendship for most of my life. I met Aaron in 5th grade. I remember the day he started at school. He walked in. He just moved to town, and we were friends from that time forward. Same thing with Tony and the Gomez family. Thank you for the opportunity to do this. We got a lot more ahead with this, with the gourmet sessions. We, said, don't forget to visit Tobacco Leaf Maryland. It's tobaccoleafmd.com. Also, don't forget to visit meatandbone.com if you're interested in anything that we cooked here on the show tonight, or anything that you're just interested in terms of meats. They have very competitive pricing, and they're a great partner of ours at LFD and at Hacking Gourmet. Meatandbone.com. I started buying from them during COVID, early March, and they became very close, and looking forward to growing with them as well. So meatandbone.com if you're interested in any of the packages of food that were on here tonight. And our next session will be on October 29th. This will be our grand opening, essentially, of the gourmet smoke sessions. October 29th, we'll be at Two Guys Smoke Shop, and we'll be doing a... I've got a graphic here, Fred. I just don't know where the hell it went, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, just keep scrolling through all the people, though. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah. We'll keep scrolling through, see what happens. Here we go. Nope.
We were on such a roll too. It was
not there.
Oh, no.
Nope, not
There it
there.
is.
Oh, here we
yeah.
go. Boom! It was on the screen. We were already on. So October 29th, we'll be with Two Guys Smoke Shop and the Cigar Authority for our next gourmet smoke session. Packages to participate in that event will be available on twoguyscigars.com on October 3rd, and then those packages will be available on Meat and Bone, and we'll be announcing that package of what we'll be cooking that evening. We'll probably have a tomahawk again, but we'll be doing some other items with that too. That'll be available on October 3rd as well. And always, you can go on hackinggourmet.com and visit our gourmet smoke session portion where you can see all the smoke sessions we're doing. And then lfdcigars.com also has a brand new website designed by one of our guests this evening, Tony Gomez. And we'll be having those smoke sessions featured on the website there as well. So October 29th is our next session. If you're interested in anything we had tonight, interested in the specials still going on at Tobacco Leaf Maryland MD.com and meatandbone.com. So, Fred, I think that's all I got, Fred. I mean, it's time. I guess we can cut. Should we cut into the steak live on the show so I can show people how perfect this is cooked?
Oh, please do, because you have to show off those knives. So,
all right, here we go. So, these are the knives. This is the Thomas Keller United series. Thomas Keller is also a very big cigar smoker. He's been doing some cooking type things and some cigar stuff with the people that we're close with another cigar company. But now they have cigar shows as well, so they're competitors of ours. So we're going to use their knives. But we've got this beautiful United Series knife by Kangsan. This is Thomas Keller exclusive, super sharp. I already tested on my arm, and of course it matches my crux. So here we go. Best way to cut a tomahawk. This has been resting quite a bit. So we're going to grab it here. We're going to go straight down. This knife is awesome already. I just touched it and it cut through it. Here we go.
I feel like we're on the Home Shopping Network all of a sudden.
Fred, this is ridiculously good knife. This is the best knife I've ever had. I've never bought a nice knife. So here we go. We're going to cut this up and then we'll put a nice display on it. It's so amazing to have a knife that actually is sharp and cuts properly. You don't have to put any pressure on it. I think I might have just cut my finger and I just looked at the knife. All right, so people that are about this sous vide life, I love it. But if you're watching this show tonight, you probably had a great time, right? You enjoyed yourself. You enjoyed the event. If you were sitting there watching a boiling bag of water, you probably wouldn't have had a great time. And I'm going to tell you something. You also probably didn't cook a 2.5-inch steak absolutely freaking perfect. Ooh. So the cool thing about this is this tempered cooking method. You'll see here the first comments to some of these haters out there are going to be like, there's some gray around the edge. Well, this is going to expand into it. So it's as soon as it touches the oxygen, it'll start to get pink. And it's going to be pink throughout. This is a perfect medium rare. Delicious. Looking forward to giving it a taste. But let's just get the display set up here so we can get a shot for Instagram here. But fantastic steak. Kyle, did you cut into yours yet?
Yeah. So I carved mine up. And I also have a pretty good medium rare going on there. I don't know how my lighting is, but nice little red center.
Looks good, Kyle.
That beautiful.
Perfect.
It's good.
I wish I could have these.
And it's got a really nice crisp to it. The main
I know,
thing
right?
That crisp on the outside, make sure you get high heat on that cast iron.
I think
and
I've
the
got
last
some
thing
wheat
you're
thins
gonna
somewhere around here.
Last thing you're going to do is taste. I've been interested in tasting this smoked salt, so here we go. Here's a piece. Cheers. Cheers to everyone that's on the call tonight. Cheers to everyone that participated in the event. And cheers to the people that will participate in the future. We appreciate the support at LFD Cigars. Thank you for Hacking Gourmet for putting this together and presenting this show. Thank you to Fred for your time. So here's, I'm going to eat this and enjoy it on your behalf. That's killer.
Thanks. I feel so satisfied now.
Wow.
Bastard.
That's awesome. It's really good. It's so good that the police cars, the local authorities here are going crazy already. There's some sirens in the background. They're on red alert. But no, fantastic steak. Great evening. This is what cigar smoking is about, is having a great time. This is what the Gourmet Smoke Sessions are about. And as I said, these will be in person and virtually going forward. Some will be only virtual, but our goal is to transition this into a full-time in-person and virtual event. So we're looking forward to seeing you on the road, and we're looking forward to seeing you on our next session.
Carney, you need to come up with a tagline for like ending the show, you know?
Yeah, I'm in. So Tony, I'm in the same thing. It's like we've kind of had like 5 endings to the show so far. I'm like, are we live? Or are we no longer live? I mean, you know.
So now that we're still live, I just want to say life is beautiful. Life is great. So aren't Gourmet Smoke Sessions. We'll see you next time. So I don't know. I'm the same. I'm the type of guy that doesn't like to hang the phone up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, we know exactly what you mean.
It's not live anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, we're definitely still live.
Yeah.
So,
all right, everybody.
Thank you for joining Hacking Break.
Thanks for joining us. October 29th, I think we said, is the next one. Look forward to seeing you in person. Also, join us over at Hacking Gourmet, where we do this on a weekly basis, but not with as cool special people. And that's it. We're out. Gourmet Smoke Sessions is now out. Thanks.